There's my cue. Hello, hello, welcome. My name is Jen Madden. I'm the Chief Learning Officer here at BeeKonnected, and I'm really excited that you have taken time out of your day to join us for today's webinar. We have a lot of exciting things happening at BeeKonnected. I joined BeeKonnected, gosh, it's 2 years this month, 2 years ago, and I was really excited about the company and the vision that our founders had for it, and I had no idea where we would end up. And here we are at a very exciting time for our company. And the dream, the vision keeps growing. And I think you are going to be very excited on what we're working on now. So today's webinar is called How to Add $7,500 a month with a white label tech stack, right? So that is obviously why you were here, because you were interested in learning how to add $7,500 to your monthly revenue. We're going to teach you how to do that. Our presenter today, our host, our amazing host is Ms. Cassie Parks. She is BeeKonnected's Chief Strategy Officer, and she is amazing if you have not met Cassie. She owns her own coaching business for over a decade now. She helps people not only manifest money, really change their money stories, but she really helps those clients that she has that have businesses really understand how to grow their business in a very smart, strategic, financially savvy way. So you're in great hands with Cassie today. Her work as the Chief Strategy Officer for BeeKonnected is she helps you, our members, really see the vision that you can have while using our tech stack to grow your business. So with that, actually, I do have some webinar rules. I was getting right into it. We want you to really be focused and to be fully present for today's presentation. So we're not going to have an interactive chat. However, if you do have questions, I'd like you to send them to me. You can private message me by clicking those 3 dots. I have an image on my image. There's 3 dots at the top. You can just click on those and then select send private message, and your message will come directly to me if there's any questions, and we will address them at the end of the presentation. Okay. If at any point you need some tech support, we've got a handy green bubble at the bottom of the screen. You can certainly click on the green bubble and our support team will help you. Now I think we're ready to get started. So without any further ado, here is Miss Cassie Parks to teach you how you can add $7,500 a month to your monthly income. Cassie?
Thank you, Jen. I am super excited to be here and talk about how to add $7,500 a month recurring revenue, which is my favorite part of that statement. Recurring revenue to your income, your business income. Because that is what, just one second. I'm not sure why my presentation isn't. Because that is the recurring revenue part is the most important to me. Because if you're going to build a business, if you are going to put in the time, the energy to go out and to get clients, right? That takes time. It takes energy. It takes marketing. It takes sales. It takes all of these things. It takes funnels. It takes thinking strategically. And often there's also an investment too. So the best thing I love about this is that you can add a recurring revenue, which comes in without you doing further work. So you get the client one time and they pay for this tech stack for a lifetime. I know that to be true as a, Kajabi user. I used Zoom for I don't know, 7 or 8 years. I paid Zoom until I found BeeKonnected. I paid Kajabi for 10 years because I needed that to run my business. So that I'm super excited to talk to you about this recurring revenue with your brand, your platform, and of course, your profit. So what if you could add $7,500 a month without adding more clients? So without scaling up the marketing, right, to go get more customers, to get more clients, you could add this revenue stream so that when you do get more customers and clients, they have this opportunity to purchase a white label from you, which increases your monthly revenue without increasing the work. What would that be like? What would you do with that $7,500 additional recurring revenue? So that means monthly, right? Monthly, that $7,500 is hitting your account. What's different in your business or your life when that is true? Right? Do you have more time to play with your kids or your grandkids? Do you have more time to go on vacation? Do you actually take vacation from your business? Because unfortunately, some business owners and entrepreneurs don't make that a priority. Do you have the space to hire someone to take some things off of your plate so that you have more space and time to enjoy your life? Really think about what would that be? What would be different if you had an additional $7,500 a month without doing a ton of extra work? Here's why this is possible. Online entrepreneurs are already spending $200 to $2,000 a month on tech. I mentioned I was a Zoom and a Kajabi user. So we're talking close to $350 a month that I was spending before I switched my business over to Be Connected, because people are already spending, or if they're starting a business, will need to spend 50 to 300 plus on a CRM, right? Virtual event tools to host webinars like this, there that's takes time. That's an expense in your business. Sorry, it takes money. It also takes time, but it's an expense in your business to hold a virtual event. If you want to have a webinar mode so that people can be solely focused on what you versus a virtual conference, that's an additional expense, because most platforms, ours happens to have webinar and meeting mode in one platform. But in most places, that is an additional expense. You either need two systems like a Zoom and Webinar Jam, or you pay Zoom to be able to do webinars. You also, online entrepreneurs often need a course platform, a place to deliver their content. Many online entrepreneurs, this is the basis of their business, having a course to sell, right? Because that's the dream. A lot of people were started online businesses, have a course that sells all the time. And then you kind of get in and you realize, like, yeah, it can sell all the time, but you have to do the marketing for that. So what if you had a course plus a white label opportunity? Community groups. So you might say, oh, people can get a free group on Facebook. You're right. But that free group, you will get what you pay for, especially now. I've been talking to some experts, and they've been doing some testing. Facebook doesn't show people in community groups. They don't show if you're a member of a group. They are not showing what's being posted in that community group unless you are paying them some money for advertising every month. And then, if you're meeting the quota that's behind the scenes that people don't talk about, and I know this because I've talked to people who've tested this, if you're not paying for that, for your stuff to be seen, then it's not being seen. Right. Which is why people are paying $30 to $100 a month for community groups, and to have a place that has a community, because often with a course comes community. Online entrepreneurs are a lot about building community. And then you need a calendar system, and people pay for a calendar system because the free version, if you're really building a business, is missing some essential tools, in my opinion, which is why I always paid for a calendar system. But what if you could offer all of those things in one platform with your branding, right? Your branding. So you see this, it says your logo here, your logo here. So if someone could log in to your tech stack, your platform, instead of some of the other platforms that we've been talking about, and they could have groups, they could hold their community groups, their paid memberships, or their free groups. They could host virtual meetings like this in a conference room that has breakout rooms, webinar mode. It has these amazing side buttons to make selling easier. They had a CRM that they're paying you for, and a calendar system. What if you could offer them that in one platform, right? You would be the hero because it's all in one place, right? All in one business toolkit branded to you. So the CRM, the calendar, community groups, course hosting, and virtual events all in one place. Again, these tools that people are already paying $200 to $2,000 a month for, but they could get them for you with your brand. Now, I like to talk a little bit about branding, because I think it's important when you're branding your tech stack. So very often you might not want to brand this to your exact business. You might want to go, adjacent to your business. For example, my online coaching and course community membership that I have is called the Enchanted Circle. I would not suggest I would not name my white label the Enchanted Circle or the Enchanted whatever. I would call it Vision Connect because I want it to speak to what I'm helping people do, entrepreneurs do, connect and build that vision out, right? So I would call it Vision Connect, which is adjacent to my brand, which is really going to speak to the people that are already in my circle and my sphere, who are already buying from me, who are already following me, who are already paying attention, who are already listening to my podcast. And yet it's big enough that anyone can buy it. It's not going to be too niched unless you want that. And some brands do want that. So let's talk about this for a second. So when you white label with BeeKonnected, we just pick $100 a month because if you remember, right, 200 to 2,000 is what people are paying. So if you're offering something for $100 a month, that's already giving people 50% off of what they're already paying. Okay. There's a $25 a month cost that you pay to BeeKonnected to run this so that you do not have to run your own customer service. You do not have to set up servers. You do not have to do all of these things. And so that gets paid to us. Don't worry, it's all automatic. We'll go over that in a bit. It's super simple, which means that if you're charging $100 a month just for these tools, you can create $7,500 in profit per user, which is amazing. So 10 users really quick is $750 a month. 50 users, that's $3,750 a month. And 100 users is $7,500 a month or $90,000 a year. Now, I created this calculator, which you'll see the button on the left-hand side, our handy dandy buttons. If you push calculator, you can go to a Google Doc and you will be able to see these possibilities for yourself. So what you do have to do is you have to go file, copy, and then make a copy for yourself so that you can edit this, right? But once you make that copy, you can change these numbers. So you can think about, okay, how many people can I easily sell this to? Put 100 in, right? And if I can sell it for $100, that's amazing. Again, that's 50% off tools for people. And this will come up with your possible annual revenue, your monthly membership back to us, which makes your monthly profit, and then your annual profit. And we'll go into a little more details in these numbers in a bit. I'll also explain why there's a first 25 and an after 25, but you can go ahead and just file copy, make a copy for yourself. That's your own Google Docs. So you can play with what's in these green boxes. How many people do you know? Because even at 10 people, this can be profitable. So you can play with those numbers. For myself, one of the things that I would do is I would actually add in some, I would add in support for my community if I was going to charge this. So I would actually be charging 197 because I would add in to my white label a business coaching community, like a business manifesting community where I would offer support and coaching as well. So I would up the price point to $197 a month. So some of you, that is an easy add. Some of you, that's not. Everybody has their own price point based on their customers, their current clients, their reach, their influence, and what if anything, they want to offer in addition to this. So you can play with that. Because as I've mentioned, this is great for coaches with communities, right? They can come to your own branded community, but they can also get the benefit of having a white label, of buying from you someone they like. So I know, actually, I'll talk about this in a second. But so that's what I mean, coaches with communities. I would have a business support community, right? That would go along with mine. So I would upcharge for that. Anyone with a certification program, generally people are getting certified so that they can teach something online, they can coach online, they can offer something in an online business. So this fits right in alignment. As an end of the certification program, you could add on a business building course, as well as the tools that people need. And the cool thing about this is that the certification program is once. The business building program might be only once. but you can either add an ongoing membership and the tools. People need the tools as long as they have a business. So that's where that recurring revenue comes in, because they're going to pay for this every month because they're building a business. They're going to keep using the tools that they're buying from you. So, network leaders, if you have a networking group, and maybe you already offer some discounts as part of the investment for being part of that networking group, the monthly amount that people pay to be part of that. Maybe they get some training, maybe they get discounts on travel or something else. This is a huge benefit. You can up the price of what you charge them each month to include these tangible tools, these tangible things that they use in their business. And you're doing it at a better price, which makes them stick around longer, right? Because they're getting that tangible tools, not just connections or meeting or networking or training. They're really getting the tangible things that they need to run their business. It's great for masterminds and memberships, because very often if you're having a mastermind, that's business. So all of those are business people who need business tools. If you have an online membership, a lot of times, because about 30% of the population is naturally entrepreneurs. So there's always going to be an amount of people that you are attracting. If you are doing the work to market, to sell, to put on a program, to create a course, there's always going to be a certain percentage, even if you're not directly talking about business, of entrepreneurs in that group, statistically speaking. So if you have a membership group, even if it's gardening, right, growing flowers, statistically, about 30% of the people are going to be entrepreneurs, and they're going to see you running this membership and like, I could create a membership. And then they buy the tools from you to create that membership. This is so good for podcasters and influencers. I have two podcasts, one with a co-host, and I know for sure that we could have sold and may start up our podcast again to sell the white label, because we had a huge following, right? And even though we had a huge following, when you go to make money to charge for an ad, there were a lot of things that we didn't like about that. Number one, it felt like a lot of work for a little bit of money, making an ad for an episode, doing all the things that it took. Even though we had a big following, people that loved us, people that follow us, people that keep asking, when are you guys going to come back? The advertising cost per impression is not very high, right? That at the high end, it's $50 for 1,000 impressions. The low end, it's about 10. But if we had something, again, 30% of our audience was probably business people, and neither of us had a business offering. That only came once you worked with me. If you wanted me to help you with your business, I do that on a one-on-one basis. I never really offered that. However, knowing that 30% of our audience was probably entrepreneurs, they would have loved to buy this from us. They would have loved to get their tools from us. They would have loved to have a manifesting community that was business oriented on this app and use the tools together, and then benefit from what myself and my co-host had to offer in building an online business. This really could be your competitive edge, because you get to offer these tools, which creates the longevity. It's going to reduce people leaving your orbit because they're paying your tools, they're paying for your brand. So you're not out of sight, out of mind. You're there all the time, which gives you these opportunities to sell them even more things, to create other courses, because they're connected with you and they're thinking about you as they're paying for these tools that they use every day in their business, which is amazing. So, how do you get started? So, first, before you get started, I would suggest playing with that calculator and seeing what the numbers are. Check it out. We're going to talk about them in a little bit. But then what you do is you pay your $5,000 licensing fee. This is a fee to resell this platform. So we are on BeeKonnected. You see this little, it's faint, but this BeeKonnected up here, right? This BeeKonnected in the browser bar. Those would all be branded to you. And so it's a licensing fee to use our technology, our tech stack. What's really cool about that is that it costs way more than $5,000 to build all of the tools that we have in the tech stack, everything we've been talking about. So if you know you're in, when you know you're in, you can click that buy now button. There's a contract. You can put your credit card in and you can buy easily with our easy buy now side buttons, which is one of the things that makes our virtual conference system amazing, both for virtual conferences and webinars, right? So you're going to pay your licensing fee. Then you're going to come up with a name for your platform. And if you want help with that, we're here to help. I am the chief strategy officer, so we can work on the strategy for a name that best describes who you want to attract to your platform, in a name that's adjacent to your brand. Or maybe we decide, oh, let's go fully branded because that makes sense based on the business that you've built. Then you're going to plan your pre-launch. So all of this tech is in the process of being built. So it is going to be ready in 3 to 6 months. And it will be ready in the order in which someone pays and says, I'm in, right? So you get put in a line to get that, the first spots are already taken, but you can get your spot in line now. And this gives you time. The reason we're doing this webinar, the reason we're doing this before this is all launched, is because a really great time to sell things is before it's built. This is true in the online business. I always did this. If I was creating something or changing it, I always sold it before, or I always built the interest before it came out, right? So before my book was available, I'm talking about it for months. Books, every time I launched a book, there was a whole process. There was a 90-day launch series before that book was available. So you want to plan your pre-launch so that you have everything ready to go, to build that excitement, to get early customers, to get people ready to go the second that what you have to offer is available, because it's just so much better and it feels good to wake up, turn something on, and all of a sudden it's ready to go. There's payments, people are using it. It's amazing. So you got to plan your pre-launch, and this taking advantage early gives you that opportunity to plan that pre-launch. Now, if you're like, oh, I don't know what to do for that pre-launch, don't worry. If you do become one of our licensed resellers, I have a pre-launch plan which we can go through together. I will give you week by week what you need to do so that you can start prepping your materials now, your emails now, your social media posts, all of that, so that you're just ready to put it out there when it's 90 days from launch. We got you covered. So how does it work? Your platform will get set up for you. You sell your platform, your branded, all of those tools that we talked about at whatever price you want. So really, you can sell it at whatever makes sense for you based on your volume, based on your customers, based on what you want to make. If you're adding any additional value into it, like I said, I would offer, ongoing support in mine, business support. So that would be a higher price tag. You sell your platform for whatever you want. And then very easily, $25 a month for this is for a limited time, and we'll cover this in a second, per user just gets automatically debited to us. So if you're charging $100 to keep math easy, right? Somebody comes in, they say, yes, I want these tools from you. They put their credit card in, they pay $100. And after that the next day, once that's cleared your bank account, the system set up to just automatically take that $25 for them. So you don't have to worry about additional accounting, anything like that, or trying to figure out or trying to, make a payment on the 15th of the month or whatever. It's just going to be automatic and simple, because that's best. Simple automation, that's what we're all going for, right? And that is, as we speak, when the white label ability is being built out in for BeeKonnected, for you to own your own platform, we are adding more simplicity, more automation, more AI to help everything be more simple and easier and more automated. So I mentioned this before. There are 25 discounted white label spots available, and some of those are already taken. So that's why when you click on the calculator button, you will see two columns. One is for the first 25, one is for 25 and after. So those first 25 are getting a discount because you're saying yes early. You're paying early before it is ready. You're taking advantage of that ability to get everything ready now so that you are ready when it is available, when you can launch, when the button gets turned on for your white label. And for that, we want to offer you a discount. So like I said, some are already taken, but you can also see when you put into that calculator the cost of waiting. Because at 100 people that you can get to buy your white label, like, you probably have an idea. Can I get 10 people easily? Can I get 50? Can I get 100? Can I get 1,000? Can I get 10,000? At 100 people, the difference in acting before the 25 spots are gone and after is about 30K a year. So no more work, no more nothing, just $30,000 more for acting sooner rather than later, and knowing this was for you. And that is the only time you should act. When you know this is for you, you know that this is going to add an amazing recurring revenue to your business that you've probably been looking for. If you know, hey, I'm going to build a business and I want a built-in recurring revenue system, this is a great way to do it. If you've already built a business and have a huge sphere of influence that would buy from you, this is a great way to take advantage of all of that work, all the money that you have put in before to build that business and to build that sphere of influence to create a recurring revenue stream. Works for both. We've really talked about this, but just one more time, I'm going to tell you why to act now, because those first 25 are getting a discount. And so you make more money. Like the basis is because you're going to make more money, right? And sometimes, like, it's, oh, I'll save $1,000 if I act now, which is great, right? But it's like, I can wait and I'll just spend the extra 1,000, right? If I decide. But in this case, it really does make a difference if you plan on adding this revenue stream to your business. Like I said, at 100 people, it comes out to about 30 grand a year, right? Repeated. So in 5 years, that's $150,000. It really comes down to the math and what makes sense for you in your business. If this white label opportunity, this white label tech stack makes sense for you. And so I encourage you to use the calendar and do the math. And if the calendar, I keep saying calendar, we do have a calendar, but it's calculator. Use the calculator and play with the numbers and see what you realistically think you can sell your white label for. Or if you're going to add, value to it, what can you sell it for? And how many people can you sell it to? And, even if you think you can sell it to 20 people a year, that's 100 people in 5 years. I always believe in doing the math in business, and that's how you should make the decisions, is by doing the math. You follow your intuition, but you back it up with math. So if this calls to you, check it out, do the calculator, and then do the math to see if it does make sense. All right. So like I said, you can use that buy now button right on your left-hand side to get started. If you have questions, you could private message those to Jen. I'll see if there is any there. But let's get started. Let's create the basis of you making money. Thank you so much for coming to this webinar on how to add $90,000 a year of recurring revenue with just 100 users. Remember, you can add about 9,000 if you just have 10 people. So if you have 10 loyal followers that would love to invest in you and your platform, they would love to see your logo on the tools that they're already paying for or plan on paying for, this could be profitable. Use the calculator. And if you want to see how to add $1 million in revenue, you can go ahead and click register for our next webinar. Jen, do we have any questions?
That was amazing, Cassie. I actually got a lot of excitement, so that's fun. I have one question that came
Yeah.
in. The question was, is there a limit to how many you can sell, how many white labels you can sell?
Absolutely not. So I think what we're talking about, just to make sure, is members. So if I have a white label, I am selling it to however many people I want. There is no limit. So if you could sell it to 1 million people, you can sell it to 1 million people, and that'd be $75 million a month. So it's really wide open and can work for a variety of people. Again, 10 to 1 million plus.
Yes, yes, that is the beauty of it. So yes, dream big, think big, use the calculator. And if you want to enhance your dreaming and thinking bigger, definitely register for the next webinar where Cassie is going to expand what's possible with this white label platform. But yeah, lots of excitement. Thank you, Cassie, for that. And thank you to everyone who took the time out of the day to join us. We really appreciate you. And there will be a replay available as well. And
Yeah.
that's it. That's all we got.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Have a fabulous rest of your day.